Hey there, it's Steve from Serious Keto, and this is the Not So Serious Keto video podcast, back to regular schedule edition. That was kind of a wild week, that last week to 10 days or so. With the unexpected release of my 2 flavors of Keto Chow, I think I released 9 videos in 9 days, which is a record for me, and not one I'm eager to break. Speaking of my 2 flavors of Keto Chow, they have been selling like hotcakes. In fact, after 10 days, it looks like they've only got about 1/4 of their inventory left. So after they're gone for who knows how long. The only place you'll be able to get them is from me and my giveaways. And speaking of giveaways, I did 7 giveaways of my new flavors of Keto Chow. And I have received just 1 thank you email from the recipients of the Keto Chow prizes I sent out. That's kind of disappointing, if I'm being completely honest, and I am being completely honest. Is that a thing nowadays that just matters? Saying thank you, that's not a thing anymore? We don't do that? But I'm not going to let that stop me from doing giveaways. In fact, I'll probably do another one like next week, because I figure by then the Keto Chow will all be sold out, and like I said, I'll be the sole source for the potato and mushroom Keto Chow. I had mentioned a couple of podcasts ago that I was a guest or interviewee on Dr. Sean Baker's podcast, and that has gone live. So it went live last week, but this is my first opportunity to tell you about it. I will put a link to that down in the description below. I will tell you that there are some pretty quick edits in there. I don't know if that's the style of Dr. Baker's podcasts. I know I do a lot of quick cuts whenever I screw something up on one of my videos. There were just some places where it really seemed kind of abrupt, and I wanted to let all of you know that, just in case you don't get caught off guard. So check out that interview. It was a lot of fun. I really like Dr. Baker. He strikes me as the sort of guy that I would hang out with in real life. So I think we both had a good time. Like I said, check it out, link in the description. Periodically in these podcasts, I like sharing a little bit of the behind the scenes in YouTube and what it's like being a content creator. And I'm going to do that, I think, on at least 1, possibly 2 topics today. The first of which is dealing with keto companies and sometimes non-keto companies that reach out to me and want to either do some sort of a sponsorship or promo or product review or things like that. Now, I get a lot of keto and health-related product requests, but I also get some that are just completely not keto at all. Some, like Temu, I'm not sure how it's pronounced. All I know is that they advertise like crazy. And it seems to me, I've not gone to their website or anything, but it seems to me it's all Chinese, cheap stuff. Lots of stuff that you didn't know existed or can't even imagine who would want to buy it. But I hear from them from time to time. I had some company that does women's nightwear, like negligees, bras, those sort of things. I had mentioned that in a previous podcast. That's kind of weird. I'll get stuff that is almost anti-keto, like a vegan company that wanted to work with me. Now, here's the interesting thing. When I get these emails, I've gotten pretty good at filtering them out, knowing like who I'm not even going to reply to or maybe not even read the email. So it always starts with a salutation, hi or hey or dear. Then, this is the first red flag. If it's several spaces and then a comma or a colon, I know that this is just a form letter and somehow that they didn't even know what my name was. So they're just shotgunning it out all over the place. Also, if it says Dear Serious or Dear Serious Keto, I know they probably don't really know who I am. They don't know my name, and I say my name in every video, so they are probably not a viewer. So if they get the salutation right, and it says Dear Steve or Hey Steve or Hi Steve, I continue reading. Then very often they'll talk about what a big fan they are, and this is where they trip up as well. So I had one recently saying, I am such a big fan of your TikToks, and I don't do TikTok. So that was a red flag. Done reading that. The other red flag for me is when they start talking about commission right away. Like, for every one of our products you sell, you'll make this much money or this percentage. And to me, leading with that on the very first email, that's kind of like talking about what we're going to pick for baby names on our first date. Too soon. But if a company makes it through my sort of mental checklist as to whether or not this is a legitimate request, My response is, if you truly believe in your product and are asking for me to do a fair and honest review with blood glucose testing, then you got a deal. Send me your product. If I love it, love it, love it, then maybe we go into an extended relationship. But otherwise, if I kind of love it, you'll make some sales and good for you. Very often, though, I don't think these companies are interested in a fair and honest review. They just want me to pimp their product for them. And I had one company, a company I actually was thinking about buying some of their product myself to test out, that emailed me, and when I gave them my reply, radio silence. So I'm not going to tell you who they are quite yet. I know that's being a little bit of a tease, but let's just say I see a lot of their bagel ads on my news feed. So I will probably be buying some of that out of my own pocket, trying it out, and giving it the fair and honest review that I think it should have, including blood glucose testing. And that'll probably be sometime in March. So stay tuned for that. For this next segment, I'm going to cover something that is both sort of what I feel a keto myth that I would like to dispel, but also it's sort of a comment/concern that shows up in the comments on a fairly regular basis. And that is keto a fad? Have we peaked? Are we done? Is it going away? Are the glory days of keto gone? That's sort of the concern in the comments. The myth, in my opinion, is that keto is a fad. And you tend to hear that from people outside of the keto community. Well, first of all, keto has been around, at least with that particular name, for over 100 years. In 1923, Dr. Russell Wilder of the Mayo Clinic created this diet, this eating protocol, this ketogenic way of life as a treatment for epilepsy, and it was very effective at doing that. So effective that then Big Pharma got in and started creating anti-seizure drugs. But we have also discovered since then that keto is very effective at a number of other great things, including weight loss and elimination of inflammation and getting rid of all kinds of things from skin issues to, it's just general overall health. So keto has been around for 100 years. I don't know that you can call it a fad. It has certainly had peaks and valleys. There have been times that it's been more popular, a couple of times due to Dr. Atkins. But as we look at certain companies now, especially keto companies, and I addressed this in a previous podcast, a lot of them kind of going out of business or having tough times. Is it because keto is shrinking? It's losing its popularity. And I don't think it is, and I don't think it ever will. And you want to know why? The standard American diet. The standard American diet, the way Americans typically eat, is creating the need for keto. If the standard American diet worked, we wouldn't see the rates of overweight and obesity that we have. I believe it's now up to 70% of Americans are either overweight or obese. And if you look at any graph of diabetes, especially type 2 diabetes, from like 1960 to current, it's insane how much it's going up. So the standard American diet is essentially creating customers, either customers for big pharma and healthcare or customers for keto. I don't think we're ever going to run out. I think there is always going to be people that find their way to keto, people that realize that they can take control of their health, they can take control of their weight, they can take control of their diabetes through the way they eat. And I believe that that is a far more holistic and natural approach to managing our personal health than taking a pill or having a surgery. So I don't get real concerned with the notion that maybe keto has had its day and it's past. I think we're here for the long stretch. And as I've said time and time again, the way that we, within this community, sell keto is just by example. We don't need to go out and preach. We don't need to go out and be zealous. We can just be personal examples of the benefits of this way of eating. The last topic I'm going to cover is the second in sort of the behind the scenes of Serious Keto. And I find as I read through comments, I get 300 to 500 comments on any given day. It's a lot to read through. And as I read through the comments, it makes me wish I had taken more courses in psychology back in college, because it's fascinating what seems to drive certain behavior and certain comments. And one of the big things that I notice is people's personal biases and how they influence what they hear and then what they say to me. So some examples of that. Oh, this was a funny one. This was just a couple of weeks ago. Someone on the Dr. Ken Berry interview that I did said, "Steve, Dr. Berry is making fun of you. Don't you realize he thinks you're stupid?" And that cracked me up, because I thought we had a great conversation. I felt there was a lot of mutual respect there. And I came away from the whole thing liking Dr. Berry even more. Now, maybe I'm completely oblivious. Maybe he was making fun of me. Maybe he does think I'm stupid. But I don't think that was the case. So what motivated this individual to write that comment? Did that particular individual think that I'm stupid and thus was just projecting that onto Dr. Berry? Or does he not like Dr. Berry and really likes me? And I don't know. Again, I wish I knew more about psychology. But the place I see the biases the most are on my resistant starch experiment videos. It kind of falls into a few different buckets. There are the people that believe that I'm trying to prove that resistant starch is a thing, and then the people that believe I'm trying to disprove that resistant starch is a thing. And within each of those groups, like the people that think I'm trying to prove it, there are the people that agree that resistant starch is a thing and they're thanking me for proving it. And then there are the people that don't think resistant starch is a thing and think I'm trying to sell it like snake oil. Over on the other side, the people that think I'm trying to disprove it, I've got the certain percentage of people that are angry, that feel I'm trying to make one of these doctors that has done other videos look bad. And then I have other people that are thanking me for disproving it. And then I got this middle bucket that just says, "Hey, thanks for trying this out. I'm glad somebody finally did it and did the blood tests. I recognize it's an N=1 experiment, but I appreciate that you did it." Now, so I got these people kind of coming at me from both sides, and I always consider that a good thing, because that means I am in the middle. I was just a guy who was curious. So I had seen all these videos, people saying, "Oh, freeze a potato and then cook it, and microwave this or do that, and suddenly it's a resistant starch." Yet across all of these videos, it was just claims that I saw. No one was testing themselves either with a blood glucose monitor or a continuous glucose monitor. So I did these purely for my own curiosity. Oh, the other comment that I'll get very often in those is that I'm dangerous because I'm trying to convince people that are perhaps diabetic that they can go ahead and eat rice and potatoes and all that, and that I'm causing harm. Again, none of these things are true. I'm just a guy who was testing some stuff. On sort of a personal thing, at the tail end of last year, back in October, I got solar panels installed on my house, and I got a Tesla backup battery system. Now, immediately, depending on where you are with your biases, you're thinking something right now. You're thinking something about Steve. And I'll give you two real-world examples. I've got a couple of neighbors. One is to the left of me politically. One is to the right of me politically. The one to the left of me felt that I was getting this stuff because I want to go off the grid. I'm a prepper, and doomsday, whatever. Then I have another one to the right who said, "What are you, a tree hugger now?" or something like that. Again, it's good that I'm getting it from both sides, because that means I am in the middle. And, I got solar panels. Big deal. There's no political or environmental statement behind that. It's something that I did. And the reason I share this with all of you is because I think it's a good mental check on ourselves. When we're getting ready to say something or type something, think about, is it coming from a place of bias? Did we have some sort of preconception that forced us or caused us to hear perhaps something that wasn't said? I'm just going to throw that out as food for thought for all of you. Incidentally, that particular food is 0 carb. So, as always, I thank you for spending a little bit of time with me. We're back on our regular Monday schedule. That's good. I think that's it for this video. Thanks for listening, and Thanks for watching.